Boomstar does get in. All right, now we got a group. I don't know when Boomstar is gonna have to go. Took him a second to load in, but he is here. All right, boys. I cannot go to make it fair. No, we got it. We got it. Looks like Sieve is up first. I guess Boomstar needs to figure out. Let's have him go second or third or fourth or something. Just because he's been waiting for a while. But it looks like it's gonna be Cinderella off the bat with Sieve. Took a bit of time to wait, but here we're here, boys. It's gonna be Arcane Mage Sieve, but he's a fire main for the most part, versus Cinderella. That's gonna be very, very interesting how this is gonna go down. It's gonna open up off the bat. Almost got AoE'd out by Sieve. Almost running off the edge too. Gonna get the full rake, rip, and everything. Rake, rip, reverse. That's gonna be images coming out for Sieve as he's gonna go for instant cast. Big old bite coming out to Sieve as wall coming out for Cinderella. Oh, gets interrupted onto Arcane. Safe to Trinket procking right now. Gonna get a second shield up and running off that. And Cinderella's actually gonna refresh himself into re-stealth. Sieve does finding it, but a little bit too late. Might just have to ice block a little bit early. Trying to get slows onto Cinderella. Is gonna get a bit of a temporal rolling. Invis coming out, does still have bleeds on him, but that's going to be defensive. Going to blink out into an ice block. I don't know if that's a good idea. It's going to be regrowth for Cinderella. The image is not really doing that much damage. Going to get knocked up for a moment. Cinderella is going to bail behind the pillar. Sieve does need to go for full food if he can somehow go for it. Does have cooldowns rolling though. Is that from his buff? I think it's randomized buff. Randomizer. Almost got Cinderella into a root. Looks like it's going to be a bite to finish off Sieve. That's a bit of a yikes. It's the first set of duels. Who's up next? Let's go, boys. Daylight's burning. We're going to hit dampening a little bit early. Somebody got to figure out who's up next. Is it going to be Blazer? Is it going to be Nando in the back? Killa? Boomstar? I think they're still trying to figure out all the roles. Walking right at Cinderella, by the way. Nope. Turn around the last minute. Did you catch Cinderella? I think you looked at him. You looked at him for a second. You actually saw his head look at him. That was the weirdest thing ever. Gonna land him into a freezing trap. This is where Nando's gonna show us how Beastmaster plays with a few bit of buffs that Beastmaster got recently. Gonna get a slow up and running Pet Bestial Wrath rolling right now. Lots of damage rolling onto Cinderella. Gonna land a trap. Tar trap coming up a little bit early. Cinderella's gonna get a big old bash on Nando, trying to get the bleeds up and running. The Pet is gonna get some defenses for Nando. Gonna sacrifice some of the damage that Nando's gonna take and get a heal rolling. Crow's coming in on Cinderella as he's gonna get slowed down. Does root the Pet out in the open, trying to get himself a heal or two. The Pet is gonna break out of the root any moment now as Nando continues to run. It's gonna be reset for Cinderella. Wall coming out as he gets hit with a stun. Trinkets out of it at the very end. Gonna get a heal rolling right now. Nando's gonna land a freezing trap onto Cinderella. Nando could go for the big setup with a big stun with the Dire Basilisk if he wants to. We'll see how he ends up doing it. Gonna get a slow up and running early onto Cinderella. Bleed up and running. Berserk coming out as he gets himself a defensive rolling a little bit early. Gonna disengage for just a moment. Cinderella's taking a big heavy amounts of damage from Nando right now. The Pet is doing a fair amount of work. Bashes up the Pet actually. Cinderella's trying to go for a bit of a restyle. The Pet is going to come back at him. Nando could go the other direction. Does run through a charge trap, which just has a little bit of red in there. It looks like blood. What the hell? That's a little bit morbid. That's like tar trap and a bit of blood of my enemies. That's a bit messed up. Cinderella's trying to get a rebleed up and running onto Nando. Freezing trap is going to separate him. That's good. Oh my god. Look at that animation. Oh, it looks so good. Look at him up in the air. Big old bite out of nowhere, bro. That's gonna be a root coming down to Nando. Gonna get the crows up and running. Could go for a finisher kill with Cinderella. Big old Bestial Wrath and everything with a stun by the Pet. Big old Dire Basilisk. Maledict rolling up onto Nando a little bit early. Cinderella's gonna pop into bear form for a moment. The Pet is gonna get all beefed up right now. Could Nando go for a stun onto Cinderella? Is gonna land a stun. Is that gonna be Dire Basilisk to follow him? Is he gonna get one? No, get himself a heal rolling instead. Gonna be a wall out of Cinderella. I think it was just force out cooldowns out of Sin. Mally to follow. Not gonna allow the Feral to heal anything. Gonna actually disengage at Cinderella. Sage to Trinket rocking right now. Sin is trying to reheal. Malik absorbed a good portion of it. Second Pet is coming out with a big old beast off that kill command. Gonna get a root on the first Pet, but this Pet is actually gonna get a bit of work going. While the other Pet is rooted, so Cinderella is actually going to run into a freezing trap off of that, put up in a decent spot. Trap coming down with blood. With tar trap. I know it's supposed to be like red to mark it's an enemy trap, but I don't think that works all that well. Hibernate coming out onto the Pet as he gets a bash into Nando. And Nando's going to Bestial Wrath the Pet off of that Hibernate. Going to get some big old damage to Sind. Good to go for a big old... I don't think he goes for Dire Basilisk here, actually. I think Nando's playing a different play. Wall coming out of Cinderella. Trick out available for Sin if he needs to. That's going to be the last bit of play. And Nando's doing some damage to Cinderella, but also taking a bit of damage. That's going to be a pet defensive coming in early on. Going to disengage, trying to catch up to Cinderella as he's dropping down. Crows are up and running. Stun coming out. Trick is out of it. Big old kill command coming down. Nando slays himself. Feral. 10% dampening. Boys, let's go. Another person into the next duel. Who's up next? Because we don't have a lot of time, we're going to get high into dampening. I want to give these boys opportunity, because dampener is literally going to put a dampener on our duels, honestly. Nando's going to go into a camo. One is out there by the box, still hanging out, running out in the open. Is Nando going to use that? No, we actually see in her position for one, and Nando is going to come out of that camo as one pick of the eye. Going to get a slow up and running. One is going to be able to get a lot of dots up and running on Nando as well as his pet. We're actually going to see a lot of damage coming out of both of them. We'll see if one was able to get big old damage on Nando. Is going to go for a horror effect. And it's going to get the pet all beefed up, trying to get some UAs rolling. Is going to get interrupted onto that UA as Mally's going to roll into Nando. That's still going to be a fair amount of dot damage. One is to get a bunch of UAs up and running though, if he wants to score like the big hit, but those dots being extended do a lot of work. That's going to be a heal for Nando. Gonna get the pet up and running. He needs to go for a big old play onto one. Stun coming out. Is one going to trick it out of it? Is going to get trinket out of it into a freezing trap by Nando immediately. That's going to be Zachary, my man. Thank you so much for becoming a sponsor. Yet again, I appreciate you, my man, or member, whatever YouTube calls it. Let's give it one running around with charge traps through the char of blood and pain. Trying to get dots on Nando. Nando has a few dots rolling on him, but he's not letting the Warlock catch up. That's going to be a horror effect. Maybe if you're to follow. Haunt trying to come out. Freeze coming in onto the one though. He has a trinket, it looks like. Looks like he has a trinket. Maybe he rolls relentless. Could be wrong. Needs to get those UAs onto Nando though. Needs to get the UAs. Stun coming onto one. Nando's going to get some beefy damage. The Warlock is taking a fair amount of damage. Is going to get hit with a pet into a fear. Haunt to come out. Trinkets out of it. UAs are trying to come out, but it's going to get interrupted on those. Needs to get those dots up and running and get a bunch of UAs if he wants to finish off Nando. As the pet is actually doing a fair amount of damage to one. Doing a fair amount of auto attacks. Skill commands are doing a fair amount of work. Trying to get a big old drain life off of the pet. Trying to land a fear onto Nando. Doesn't look like it happens. The stable afflictions are trying to come out. Does get a freezing trap onto his pet instead. Wall coming out for one. Can he get some big damage? Horror effect onto Nando into a haunt. Bunch of UAs to get it stacked up. One UA, maybe a second. That's actually a fair amount of damage on Nando right now with a couple of UAs. It's actually melting right now. Trying to go for a pet revive as his pet does die. He does get a pet CC to follow. Shadow Fury, another one UA, second UA, third UA, fourth UA. Lots of UAs. Nando does get himself a huge heal. That's going to be a big old death pact. Or no, death pact. Death bolt coming out by one. Basically a mini chaos bolt for affliction. Nando doesn't get an interrupt onto the big old drain as we get a haze buff for one. And Nando's just trying to truck along that turtle shell coming out. Not a lot of health to really work with here. At least he doesn't have Maledict on him. Maybe he can get a pet heal rolling. Has a fairly bit of health. Does get a CC onto the pet. It was going to be a faint death for a moment. The pet is going to get hit with a horror effect. And that's going to be Nando going down as one. Does get to melt him down with dots. Killer General's up next. Incap coming out. Does get hit with a pet CC. And one is going to go put in some dots on the Killer Gen right now. Trying to run away to the port. Is he going to use the port right there? Nope. Doesn't have it for a bit. Does he have a horror effect? Trying to let it fear. Stun coming down. No way out of this one. Looks like Killer Gen is going to be able to take him out of his Fist of Fury. Trying to let it fear. Doesn't happen. Burn X needs to go up next. Burn. Get him. Is going to get a root onto Killer. Killer's going to bail out of there. Get him back in there. Is going to try to get a slow into Burn into a fear. And Killer Gen is going to take that immolate into maybe a big old chaos bolt coming out. Into a root off of that. Taking a lot of damage. Infernal coming down. Immolate to follow. Has the monk out in the open. Does get a horror effect on him as Karma comes out. Fear to follow. He's trying to land another Chaos Bolt. It's actually going to heal him a little bit. Trying to land another Fear. Can you break through Karma with a Chaos Bolt? Try to load one up. Does land one add. Killer Gem does get a stun on him on his side. That's a big old Infernal dipping him down low in health. Purifies are trying to come out. Warlock pokes out. Killer Gen wants to go for some big damage. Such that's coming out. Burn Axe actually hasn't eaten the stun. Uses a Void Operation to get away a little bit. Good go. It doesn't go for a port. Killer Gen is trying to get as much damage. Into the touch of death. Does get a fair amount. That's going to be a wall out of Warlock. Fear onto Killer. Trick is out of his stun. That's going to be trick out of Burn Axe. Trying to end this monk right now. Fear catches him into a Chaos Bolt flying and does eliminate the monk. Burn Axe does take him out up next. It's going to be a big old Nick Chungus trying to cam his way over there. 42% dampening remaining. Does have the pet up and running into a horror effect, into a fear. Double horrors. The pet actually, which gets him double the heal, does 43% excruciating dampening. Does get the dot on the pet. Gonna send the fear on the pet, but he is gonna break out with a kill command. Trying to land a Chaos Bolt in there. That's gonna interrupt the Chaos Bolt. It's coming out onto Nick Chungus. Nope. Interrupted for a second. Another Chaos Bolt. Second Chaos Bolt coming out as a defensive coming out for Nick Chungus. Burn X is not out of the fight quite yet. And this is where gonna line the Hunter for a little bit. Has Shot of Fear rolling. Is he going to stun the Hunter? Does stun him into a Fear. Chicken coming out immediately. Trying to stun another Fear. Does land the second Fear. Burn X barely has any health. Drain Life coming out on the pet as Safety Chicken is up. Stun coming down on him though. Kill commands up and running. Nick Chungus could burn a lot of cooldowns. Try to end him. Burn X is going to go get some heals off of the pet. Chungus is just keep running around. Maybe if Burn does get a double horror into an eliminator on the Chungus. Into maybe a Fear on the pet. No, the pet actually goes through the wall, to the ceiling, to the floor for a second. Trying to go for Drain Life. 48% dampening. Not a lot he has really left right now. It's going to be a short, slow. Down he goes though. It's going to be Death Steal up next. Wants to steal Nick Chungus' death, but that means he was supposed to be like, you're not done today, I'm done first. That's gonna be a big old Dark Basilisk for Chungus though, as Deathsteel is trying to find a way to deal with his is rocking down Chungus' health very low, but Deathsteel's health is also not doing that amazing. The Dark Basilisk is just chunking him down right now. That's gonna be him going down at the end of it. Too much Basilisk damage, and Chungus gets to go into a little bit of a re-stealth. Ursoc is gonna pick up the eye, runs by it, but doesn't actually get the buff. That's a bit of bullshit when that happens. Is gonna go into cat form, shoots the Chungus, bear form coming down, gonna get the dots up and running. Can you take out the Hunter? Is gonna eat the freezing trap. That's not gonna be a camo for Chungus for quite a bit. Maybe Faith could mount up and try to run away. I think that's exactly what he wants to do. Is wants to line away from the Boomy for, but wants to wait him out. Back into cat from Chungus. Needs to get back in there. See how his dots rolling. There's going to be some auto attacks running from Ursoc. Is going to get into bear form for a moment. Getting re-dots up on the Jinx Chungus right now. Could go for a big old haymaker. Getting stunned up right now. Chicken side of immediately trying to end this Hunter right now. Nothing left for this Hunter but one small heal. 56% dampen. He needs to burn that heal right now early. He needs to find a way to deal with his Boomkin right now if he wants to have a chance. Getting disarmed, so I don't even know what abilities he can't do. That's going to be Ursoc taking him out. Up next is going to be Boomasaur. I think he wants to give Ursoc as much of an honor duel as possible, and Ursoc is like, you know what, let's get back in there. 58% dampening. I still have most of my cooldowns. Incarn hasn't been burned. Getting stunned up as he tries to go for a cycle on the pet. That's going to be early Bark Skin coming out for Ursoc. Does he have a lot to work with here? Does get hit with a horror. That's going to be Boomsaur sending up a bunch of pets. Shadow Fear trying to come out. Going to get interrupted onto Shadow. Actually getting fully silenced. It's going to be a big old Incarn for Ursoc. Trying to catch up to Boomsaur. It's going to be Waffle Boomsaur trying to live with his damage. Trying to summon Demonic Tyrant. Haymaker coming down onto Boomsaur. Wall still keeping him afloat. Demonic Tyrant is still going to come out no matter what. Ursoc having to deal with a Tyrant is going to light it as much as he can. The pets are going to do a fair amount of damage, but that Tyrant is just going to do way too much deeps right now for him. Stun coming down. Tyrant on one side. Boomsaur on the other. This is not looking good for Ursoc. Gonna get a safe chicken rolling. That's all he really has left. Incarn is all he has really have for now. Boomsaur's health is not doing that amazing either. Ursoc is trying to see if he can do anything, and down he goes. And that's gonna be Team Green or Team Red taking that one out. That was a lot of back and forth in those duels. BM Hunters are back, boys. BM Hunters are back. They buffed him enough where they're back. Hell yeah. Alrighty, boys.